Well, after not performing on stage for, well, I guess it's 40 years, I actually never did my own show. I always had my group, Desmond Child and Rouge. So this show that I did at 54 Below over 3 nights was recorded. And one of the wonderful things was that I was able to do whatever the heck I wanted to do. And I brought together all of my friends from back in the day, Rouge, Maria Vidal, Miriam Valley, Diana Griselli, Lena Hall came and sang, Tabitha Fair and Justin Benlolo. We had an incredible band, and I was just, it felt like the old days. That's why I wanted to do it in a small, intimate club. It's amazing to hear how many songs were successful that I had something to do with. So when I sing Living on a Prayer, it sends me back to the day we wrote the song. And, how I came up with the name Gina for Tommy and Gina, because Maria was working at a place called Once Upon a Stove on the East Side, and her stage name for being a waitress was Gina Velvet. It always sends me back to the point of creation. When I hear the song, I remember the faces, of Steven Tyler and Joe Perry when we wrote Dude Looks Like a Lady, and Paul Stanley when we wrote I Was Made for Loving You. It's a wonderful thing, and I think that the listener, even if they had nothing to do with the song, is transported to the point of creation on a very deep level. And so, that's why people feel it, because it came from somewhere deep. And I just love what I do, because, songs like Living on a Prayer, you don't know how many letters through the years we've gotten of people who held on to that song to get themselves through very hard times, through cancer. I remember getting a letter from a guy who said he was determined to kill himself. So he pulls up to the bridge. He was going to jump off the bridge. He jumps out of the car, leaves the windows open, and he's leaning to jump, and he hears the start of Living on a Prayer, which was his favorite song. So he said, okay, well, like the, Last Meal or whatever, The Condemned, that's the last song. So he gets back in the car to listen to the very last song, his favorite song. By the time it got to the final chorus and it goes into the lift and modulation, he drove home. So Bon Jovi saves lives. If my mom was sad, which was most of the time, she'd write these melancholy, very sad love songs about loss. And if she went to visit a city, she would write an ode to the city that she visited. And she wrote poetry. So I was surrounded by art. And so we were very poor, and being that my mom was trying to make it in a male-dominated world, especially in Latin music at the time, in the 60s and 70s, I just made a determination that I would make it. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I did. I was able to do it and take care of my mother. And as soon as I had my first hit with Kiss, I Was Made for Loving You, I moved her out of the Liberty City projects. She wasn't allowed to take anything, no furniture, no clothes, new car, just everything brand new. And she lived like a queen till the day she died, and I made sure of that. One of the songs that I feel very close to is a song that I co-wrote with a group that was very young at the time. The drummer was 9 years old, and it's called Weird, and the group was Hanson. And this is before Bop came out and all of that. And it's really a very personal song for me, because I grew up feeling weird. I mean, I was Latino, gay. My mom was a songwriter. I didn't have a dad. And we were very poor, and we lived in the projects of Liberty City. So I felt very marginalized, growing up. And so my only choice was to kind of make it somehow. And so the song Weird is about feeling different. And I just love the song, and it evokes the music and lyrics of Burt Bacharach and Hal David. Every time I go to that bridge, I just feel them hovering around me. It took writing 4,000 songs over the last 50 years to come up with 80 top 40 singles. And of those 80 top 40 singles, I think there's about 10 or 11, 12 top 10, or maybe there's 5 or 6 number ones. It took writing that many bad songs to get those good ones. So I'm grateful for the good ones, and I wouldn't change anything about them. Genres are about style, but they're really the score to the script. The script is the lyric. So if you have a strong lyric, then it tells you what the music needs to be. It tells you how fast it should be, how happy or dark the chords should be. Then when you're making the record, how cinematic the texture of the orchestration needs to be. Everything starts with the lyric. Well, I'm a big fan of Halsey. She was honored this year at the Songwriters Hall of Fame, where I'm on the board. I was inducted in 2008, and she got the Starlight Award, and that's the Hal David Starlight Award. And she got up and she sang this song. It's just Without Me, I think is the name of it. And it was goosebumps all over. And I love the recorded version. I mean, it's a masterpiece. But when she sang it live, and she was like on the verge of tears singing it, I just know that I want to work with her because she's a true artist. And so as a creator, I have to maintain a boundary around me and a sacred circle where I create. So that's how I operate, and I kind of trust the universe to bring me the people that I need to be working with. I started a musical called Goo Belly Barrett with my collaborator David Sigerson in 2004. That's how far back this musical goes. And it's the true story of my family before and after the Cuban Revolution. My mother had 2 very beautiful sisters that became the it girls of Havana. And one of them was the mistress of the dictator Batista, and the other one became Fidel Castro's lover after the revolution. So it was 2 sisters, 2 dictators, 1 island. You do the math. We've been working for a very long time with different producers and directors. We've done 6 workshops, and hopefully we're going to be doing another one down in Miami at the Arsh Center. It's a real book musical. So, we call it Les Mis with bongos. My hobby is Instagram. So I am hooked. And my husband is constantly saying, get off that phone. I said, no, I have to answer my fans. My fans, I'm sort of like Norma Desmond with it. And so I'm at Desmond.Child on Instagram, and I'm looking for followers who will follow me forever and never leave me.